Today in the Boot Guy, we are looking at the SUTRO Footwear, the Ellington in this honey brown. Now the thing about these SUTRO boots and me doing this review is I was approached by the company asking to do a review of their boots. We all know why companies are approaching me to do reviews of their boots, because you guys get to see what's new out there, because there's a lot of great shoe companies out there that just aren't getting noticed. So if they can reach out to somebody like me, I can throw a little light on their company, a little light on their product, and hopefully they'll get some sales. And that's what it's all about. As I looked at their catalog and I had to pick out a pair of boots that I wanted to do a review on, I chose the Ellington mainly because it is a classic wedge sole work style and it falls into the classifications on the website under work boots. And it's more for looks and aesthetic. It's not actually because it is a work boot. Now, if you guys remember my unboxing and if you've watched the video, it's not that bad. I'm a little dirty just coming home from work and I'm opening up this pair of boots. So if you guys watch that video, the thing that I say in that video is I'm going to wear this pair of boots as a pair of work boots. So we're going to talk about all that at the end of this video. First, I want to tell you about all the great things about the boot and why I feel that stuff from SUTRO is a good place to put your money, because not only are you paying a fraction of the price as some of the other companies that make somewhat of the same type of boot, but you're getting something that meets a certain person's needs and classifications on what a boot could be for them. So first and foremost, let's talk about who I believe this boot is really good for. This is a great boot for somebody who wants a work boot, wants a casual boot, but doesn't actually want a work boot, because work boots are twice as heavy, the leather's going to be twice as thick, it's a rougher and a tougher break-in period, and to be honest with you, if you have a bad experience putting on a pair of boots, you'll never go back to them again if you've never owned boots before. After you've owned about 20 or 30 pairs of boots and you've been doing it for a large portion of your life, you understand that yes, there's going to be a little pain and there's going to be some break-in. For guys that are new to wearing boots, break-in really doesn't feel good. You've worn gym shoes, you've worn softer shoes your whole life, you put on a pair of work boots and they start to hurt your feet. Not a good thing. And that's where the SUTRO comes into play. This thing looks just like a classic work boot, feels just like a classic work boot, performs, is made from the same materials throughout the boot as a classic work boot, except for a few small things, like it doesn't have heavy duty work leather. It has a nice lightweight dress leather backed with a glove leather liner. So those two things, throwing those into the mix, really makes this a every person's boot. And it's not that I just see guys who aren't boot guys buying this. I see the guy who actually wants to have a pair of quality boots for a fashion, a casual look, a casual type lifestyle, but is planning on doing some work. And I don't mean that he's going to quit his job, become a carpenter, a plumber, an iron worker, a pipe fitter, or anything like that. But he is going to be inclined to go take a weekend woodworking class. He's going to be inclined to go take a maker's class, or maybe they're going to have them cutting into some metal, maybe doing a little TIG or MIG welding, doing stuff like that, where he just wants to learn about, blue collar trades. This would be a great boot for somebody like that to have on their foot. Instead of running out and spending the big bucks on a pair of actual work boots and you're never going to wear them again because it's uncomfortable, a pair of SUTROs on your foot is a pretty good choice. All right, so let's get to the finer details of the boot. Like I said, beautiful, soft leather upper, but let's get to the sole, because I got to start with the sole. It's a Vibram Christie sole. That's what drew me into asking for this boot, is that they actually used really good materials to build this thing. It's a Vibram Christie sole. It's an actual work sole on a casual upper. So that means you're going to get the performance of the Vibram Christie sole. You get the traction, you get the resilience, you get the bounce back, you get the comfort, you get the ability to know that because it's a full leather welt on this boot, that when you do wear down the sole, which you're going to wear down a Christie sole, that you can have a new one put on. And it's not going to be a hard thing for a shoemaker to find a new Christie sole because they're a dime a dozen. You can find them everywhere. And they really perform well. So the welt, it is a full leather welt, and it's a beautiful leather welt. It's not like some of the leather welts we've been seeing lately on a lot of high-end boots where it's just a very thin piece of leather that's then sewn down to a kind of a plasticky midsole. This is a beautiful heavy-duty leather welt all the way through, similar to some of those brands that come out of Oregon, if you catch my drift. So the construction in the Sutro is really up to par for what a work boot should be constructed as. All right, so let's talk about this leather. It's leather lined with glove leather. Nice touch, it's beautiful, it feels great. Out of the box, first day, first half an hour, 20 minutes, this thing is broken in. It's soft, it's ready to go. There's no hot spots, there's nothing digging in. It's the perfect type of boot for somebody who's looking to get into boots. Eyelids, antique brass, nice, aesthetically beautiful, nice little white stitch all the way through the boot. And the way the tongue is a full flap tongue. So it's a classic full flap tongue with a lace saver in the middle. It's a really nice classic design that has been put into a little bit more of a modern feel. In the bottom is a hard midsole, which is a beautiful thing. If you come from wearing gym shoes, running shoes, or whatnot, and you want to move into a pair of boots, and your podiatrist has made you some orthotics, you're going to need a hard footboard in order to support those orthotics. Sutro's got you covered. Now, if you don't need any of that stuff, having the hard footboard mixed with their beautiful leather-lined EVA rubbery bottom insole is really nice. This insole, I was surprised to see something that was this comfortable, and that was actually shaped and formed by a shoemaker that this thing just wasn't pressed out of a machine. Somebody actually took the time to cut all those chamfers into there so that it fits perfectly inside each boot. Now I can imagine that each boot's going to be different with the way that insole looks because they're handmade. With something that's being handmade means that somebody took the time to make sure everything fits together right so that when you put your foot in there, you don't feel any little edges or hot spots, and it's something I did not feel. I felt that it was put together exceptionally well. All right, so let's talk about size and fit. Right out of the box, my size 12s fit me like they were made to fit me, like they were made for my feet. So that is a wonderful thing, and that's something that is really important, especially when you think about their size scale. Their size scale is running from 7.5 all the way up to 14, so they got a lot of people covered. They do have sizes up to 10.5, so there they got a lot of people covered. Now, about the width and about how the whole template and profile of this boot works, if you got a super wide foot, they might not work for you. I felt the 12D was perfect. Out of the box, I could feel the size, I could feel where everything should be. I knew that by the time I broke this thing in after 2 or 3 days in it, that it was gonna fit my foot and my foot only, and I was absolutely right. This pair of boots shaped to my foot exceptionally quick, and it was an exceptional easy break-in. No break-in. All right, so the elephant in the room for this review is actually the fact that I wore these as my work boots for 2 weeks. And you guys that follow my Instagram feed, you guys follow the progress of these boots, and you guys did see that I did destroy one boot. I destroyed the toe on this boot. Now, don't let this determine whether or not this is going to be a good boot for you. Remember, I worked in this boot. The first week that I had to wear this boot, I pulled about 5,000 feet of cable. I was crawling around on my knees, climbing ladders. I was kicking things into place. I worked this boot exceptionally hard. Any boot would have fallen apart on me in probably the same period of time if it was constructed in the same way. Was it the best boot for me to work in, to do what I had to do in? No, but guess what? It was a great testament to the quality in the construction of this boot. I do not see this as a downfall, neither should you. You should actually see this as a positive thing, because this is a very simple thing that I can walk into a shoemaker, any shoemaker anywhere, and they can have this glued and stitched up in 5 minutes and they're back on my feet and I can get back in the field and start working. Now, probably the best thing about these boots is, like I said earlier, is that if you're a guy who's just looking for a boot, a casual boot that is a work boot that you can actually do some work in, the Ellington is just that kind of boot for you. Now, if you're a working guy and you want to move the opposite direction into a casual boot, but you don't want to give up the work boot feel and look, well, the Ellington also, it fits that middle of the road where people need to come to understand that there are quality boots made like this that actually are exceptionally nice. So that's the Ellington by SUTRO Footwear in this beautiful honey brown leather with a Vibram Christie sole. Hey guys, if you're wearing anything by SUTRO, please comment below. Let me know what you think about it. If you're a casual guy and you got a couple pairs and you match up your outfits, please comment below and let guys know which models you're wearing and how you like to wear them. Hey, if you want to know more about the SUTROs, or if you want to see some of the photos that I took of this boot, swing by my Instagram feed and check it out. All week long as I'm breaking in new boots, I'm on Instagram and I'm putting the photos out there, and this SUTRO's got a lot of great photos in a lot of weird situations. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. You know it really helps out. And also, guys, if you've watched a lot of my videos, if you enjoy them, if you're thinking that you really like what I'm doing, throw me a few bucks on Patreon. Your support is what's going to really keep this Boot Guy Reviews project alive. It's going to let me know that there are people who actually appreciate what I do. So if you don't mind, swing by my Patreon. You'll find the link below and just make a donation. Hey, if you're about to pick up a pair of these and you got a few questions, shoot me over an email. Or if it's really important and you want to hit me up right away, hit me up on Instagram. I'm on Instagram all day long. It's kind of my messaging service back and forth now because I can work with photographs, I can work with ideas with other people. So hit me up on Instagram. All right, until the next time, I'm the Boot Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.